At the full moon 2 weeks ago, we saw Mars tension venting a lot of anger and frustration, stoking the need to get yourself crystal clear and speak up. But the challenge was to keep your wits about you, have awareness, or risk oversharing and losing the message. If the situation went off the rails, or you're still not being heard, this moon is an awakener, opening the path forward. It's a Leo moon, with a lion's roar behind it. Leo is the sign of royalty, confidence and pride. Teaming up with the Leo sun and moon is Mercury, the god of communication, and together they make a passionate talk fest. Big talk, real talk, get to the heart of it talk. There's no catchphrase with this moon. It's just about getting in and making a difference to yourself and others. New moons signal a new beginning, fresh perspective and forward movement. And what was conflicted in the last month can take on a completely different landscape from here. The Sun-Moon-Mercury group is hooked into a lucky aspect with Mars. So any blocks or distortion at the beginning of August now have more meaningful information to back reference and get more overt support on hand to lift us out of confusion. Take it with good grace, because this is an opportunity to reset the action button. This astro setup is called a grand trine, where the planets are positioned to form a triangle. They work in harmony with each other, like 3 notes on a melodica forming a chord. The 3 points of the grand trine unify the energy of the Sun-Moon-Mercury bundle with Mars, accompanied by the goddess disruptors, Lilith and Aries, and the South Node in Sagittarius, who is bringing up beliefs and attitudes of the past to be re-examined in a new light. News travels quickly under this influence. Intuition and timing is synchronized, and action follows through inspiration rather than aggression. It's important to include Lilith and the dwarf planets in this reading because they bring empowerment through discord and chaos. They are feminine free spirits who had no fear to speak the truth and stand by their convictions. I'll be doing more videos on the dwarf planets and how their discovery in 2005 restructured the masculine-dominated planet system and opened our collective consciousness to expand and integrate feminine energy on a social and an individual level. But back to the moon. There's a sock in the mud for the Mars, Aries and Lilith renegades. They're still coming up with restriction from the old guard. Jupiter, Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn. These guys are power lords who double down and overreact when challenged. The mood from them is stubbornly at odds with the rise of self-confidence and independence that's indicated in other parts of this moon phase. Uranus, the planet of shock and eruption, lit a fuse at the last full moon. But now it's turned retrograde, retracing its steps and looking back at what actually went down. It's up to us to find the individual courage and perseverance to unravel a deadlock and pursue a more authentic course of action, even in the face of resistance or difficulty. Jupiter, Saturn and Pluto have a way of destabilizing self-worth, obsessing over details and using fear to control. So it's possible the blocks you face are of your own making. A psychological blind spot, or anxious inner critic who prefers you to live in self-doubt. Patterns of behaviour are being questioned shaken up and reshaped. So it's new territory that needs bravery to confront. Aries peeps born around the middle of April will be under more pressure to pay the piper before freedom is granted. So stay focused on the goal and step up to responsibilities rather than dodging them. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and harness your strength. Fire signs will benefit most from the full moon, but Leos with birthdays in this few days and Geminis born around the 17th to 20th of June might have an important decision, news or announcement that vindicates you in some way. You might have to work for it, but there's a sense of unveiling the truth that works in your favour. For Melbourne people, this moon is placed right at the top of our chart, meaning a situation is peaking, coming to light in a public, externalised way. Our politicians and media will be under the microscope to speak truth and accept responsibility. This could involve security measures undertaken during our first lockdown, as well as trade, contracts and agreements. Mercury, the planet of movement and communication, is right here with the Sun and Moon. So we could be getting some good news or a turning point. But because of the difficult placement with Jupiter, Pluto and Saturn, current restrictions will remain as law in this moon phase of about 2 to 4 weeks. I hope this means we get a fall in numbers of people testing positive to COVID, and that the beautiful grand trine that we talked about earlier will bring some unity, protection and peace. Stay safe. I'm Merryl Key and this is my mystery school. Contact me if you'd like a reading. Like, follow, share and subscribe.